frustrating. Hey, I don't know why it won't let me bring you to. The other one completely failed.
Hello. Emily, can you see me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Hello, everyone. I'm Dawn Marie Freeman Cherokee, here with Emily Randolph Sure, and we got an awesome podcast live coming. So Emily had to step away for a second. We had last time, if you guys all recall, we had a great and we had so
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Great. I was just explaining for when people do watch here that technical issues time, and it's taking us a long time to kind of figure them out. And here
I hate these headphones so much. Good work.
and we don't need anti-interruptions today. Emily, can you hear me at all?
I can now. Does that work?
Okay, you're back. I couldn't hear you before. Hello, Stacy. How are you? We're just trying to figure out glitches that happen.
Do you want to go?
Go ahead.
Do you want to tell them
Oh,
what we're doing during the break, or that we're going to take a break?
Oh, yes, we are going to take a break. At some point to get along. Emily's getting all hooked up over there. She's our technical genius.
You wouldn't think so if you didn't meet her.
That's okay. Great if someone could make a comment so we know you're there. I'm going to comment myself. Hi, Stacy.
Hi, Stacy. Hi, Gretchen. You can't hear?
Oh,
Which one?
Which one? Okay, who?
Me?
Too much background noise.
That's because adjusting the phone. I apologize. me.
Oh, me. Oh, I'm the first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what does it sound like?
It's kind of like
It's
if
kind
you
of
had a
like if you had a
squeaky wheel.
squeaky wheel. Jimmy's in there on with the fan, which I just shut off. How about now?
Do you have any
Do you have any
headphones?
headphones? I do have headphones. Yes, I do. Right here, ready for
Gretchen, can you
any
hear me?
issue.
It's much better.
How about now? Any?
Okay.
Okay. How about now?
Perfect.
Oh, wonderful. And you actually sound clearer to me. I'm just making my things give me a little more room so I don't look I have a bonnet wrapped tied around my neck.
Thank you, Gretchen. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. We are so super excited. I'm not real familiar with the earbuddy thing, so please bear with me if I'm talking way too loud. You have to tell me. Am I talking too loud?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Um, well, perfect. Oh, great. Thanks so much,
We did
Gretchen.
something right.
I know, yay!
We're
Oh
still
my
learning how to
goodness.
do this because this is all new
Yes.
to us, and all the help we can get is wonderful. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. Because I'm telling you, Emily and I have been working on, well, let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
This is Emily's Stomach Podcast Live with Emily Randolph Schur and myself, Dawn Marie Preeman Shiraki. You can call me Dawn for short. Dawn Marie doesn't matter. Emily, you go by Emily, pretty much anything.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm easygoing. So.
Yes. Okay, so we've been working on this for a long time.
Since
And
January.
well, actually, we were working on it separately,
Right.
throwing ideas for years.
Mm-hmm.
And then January, it was like full force. We're so excited. Our first podcast, we think, went pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my goodness, we have. Oh, the topics are unbelievable. Gastroparesis or gastroparesis. People all pronounce it differently.
I say
GP.
I say gastroparesis because it's the accent around here, so.
Yeah,
But it doesn't
okay.
matter what I say. Nobody knows what it is.
You're so right. You're so right. So we just say GP.
Right.
GP is shorter, easier, and it's a lot easier to write, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start, I think, today with the basic, okay? Well, let's even back up again. I'm sorry, I'm so excited that I'm just
It's
like
okay.
jumping ahead.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about GP, what it is, symptoms of it, where you get tested, or what you get tested with, and all that stuff. So that way, hey Jill, welcome to the show. That way,
Hello.
if you have any family or friends that don't understand GP, you can play this and show them our technical difficulties and our great prowess and how we're awesome.
Absolutely,
Just kidding.
because people have. No, you're not, because we are wonderful.
Well,
I think.
I also learned a lot making this outline for the show. Like,
Mhm.
I learned things I didn't know. So, I
We were
mean,
just talking about that.
you always have a chance to learn something, even if, you think you've done it 20 million times. And I've had GP, well, officially since 2012, and I'm still learning about it.
And I've had
So,
it for over 30 years.
hmm
And let me tell you, and that was officially diagnosed. So I'm still learning new things every day. Emily and I were just talking about that this morning, that it was like, oh, I forgot about that. Or, oh, did you remember? Did you know that? And we love learning from all of you. And we hope the whole point of having this podcast is to help everyone out there in the community. We're here as a support group to support each other. We
Hey,
talked
Jill.
about that last time. Hi, Jill. And I think support is something we really need to do. So we need to start from the beginning. So our podcast, just real quick, we're going to be doing podcasts. Emily posted a questionnaire or poll
hmm
to see what everybody felt about, having a calendar for a podcast, knowing what's coming up. And what we want is we want your ideas. We want your questions. Uh, when you're first diagnosed with GP, you have no idea what anything
No,
is. You got to
not at
learn.
all.
And the only way to learn is not necessarily by the doctors and reading, it's by talking to each other who have it. I'm going to just say, and Emily, I know you agree, there is no two people alike. There is no two GP people. You may be real close, you may be similar. There's
Mm-mm.
nobody that's the same, and there is no such thing as a textbook case. So you always keep
Oh, I
that in the
hate when
back
they
of
say
your
that.
mind. Yeah. So just remember that. So, Emily, like you were saying, what are we starting with today? What is
Hey, Lisa,
GP?
welcome. Here we are. Yeah,
Ah,
what is GP? Because we want to clarify that. A lot of people think it's just stomach paralysis and that's it, but it's not.
exactly.
It's it's also it can slow down your intestines and make your intestines completely not work. I've had
Right.
GP friends who've had to get their colons out because of that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so hey April. So it just it's the function of the stomach that's impaired. Okay, so when the normal stomach deals with food, it contracts and it uses the vagus nerve to do so. But if your vagus nerve broken, you're not able to do anything.
Right.
So it'll sit there. And there are different kinds of GP too. Like diabetes is a major factor. Diabetes can cause GP. I'm sorry guys, I need to move and sit down. I'm feeling kind of dizzy.
Which Emily is a diabetic GPer. I, however, am idiopathic. Idiopathic meaning they don't know why I have it. They don't know how I got it.
I started off being idiopathic.
And
Um,
then,
I think I got it from my appendix surgery. When I was 16, I started throwing up at school, and my best friend had, put my hair back, and he kept telling people walking by that I ate bad Chinese food the night before. So it's a real pal, right? So I had surgery, and I think they used my vagus nerve because I've been so sick since then. Like I've been vomiting since 2000. So
right,
it's been
I can't hear you. I can't hear. Oh, now I can.
okay. Sorry, headphones. So there are different kinds of GP, like you were saying, idiopathic, diabetic,
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. So I've heard different stories from different people, and also there's pediatric
Yes,
GP. Kids can get it
yes,
too, and animals, cats and dogs can get gastroparesis. I knew a friend
yes.
whose cat had gastroparesis. I kid you not, and she would call me and ask me for advice on what to do with her cat. And I was like, take it to the vet. Like, sounds like it needs fluids. Um, But nobody's the same. Everybody's different. And that's why there's no cure or anything. Like, well, no, there's no excuse for viable treatments, though. But there's no cure to this, so um, it gets more and more difficult. And
Emily,
then,
do you agree? And anybody out there, please. Stacy said, "Where'd the sound go?" Oh, yes, animals can get it, but do you
mhm.
agree that when you go into the hospital, okay, or even the doctor, they don't try and cure you because there is none. They're treating your symptoms. How do you feel about that? That they treat your symptoms of how you are and try and control it that way rather than finding a
They
way
put,
to cure it.
yeah, you're talking about a band-aid instead of an actual fix.
Right.
Which they did to me on Tuesday, actually. Because my best friend died, one of them. And I've lost 7 people in the span of 2 months, so grief has hit me like a Mack truck, and I'm really not sure what to do with myself right now. But it's made me so sick, and also, we have GP. We'll talk about that later, but secondary factors can make you sick. So grief
Right.
hit me like a rock, or no, truck. It was bad. So it's still bad. I got so sick I had to go to the hospital on Tuesday. No wait, Monday. They kept me overnight and let me go Tuesday. They gave me
Hi,
fluids and
Tracy.
medicine. Hey Tracy. They gave me fluids and medicine and then sent me home. They told me about the brat diet before they sent me home. I'm like, thanks, dude. I know what the brat diet is. This isn't the stomach flu.
If for people who don't know what the brat diet is, it's
Mm,
bananas, rice,
rice.
applesauce, tea, and toast. That's more for like when you have diarrhea, um, when you just have a little bit of an upset tummy, but you're just not there to really eat a lot, and that
Right,
kind of
Stacy.
is bland. It's a bland diet, and it's called the brat diet.
It's disgusting.
Yeah,
And
it's
yeah,
not
they only
great,
treats
but
well, the ones here, Stacy, only treat the symptoms. I'm in Atlanta, so I can't speak for other places, but I can speak my experiences. Last time I was hospitalized was like the end of January, early February, and I hit the freaking lottery. I think I spent all of my karma on that visit because I actually got admitted, actually got, help I needed, and I had a really good doctor that knew about GP. So I blew all my karma earlier this year, so now I'm left with the people that just want to band-aid me and send me home.
oh, well, Um, I think too,
Mine too.
the doctors, they don't know, they don't experience it. So they only go by what a
Mm-mm.
textbook says. They don't go by what it feels like. One thing that I was told very early on was you need to, when you're telling your doctor how you feel, and I mean, if I go in now, even now, they say,
Gotcha.
well, what does it feel like? I literally say it's a squeezing, stabbing, piercing, aching pain.
I mean,
Actually,
that's part of the
squeezing,
symptoms,
twisting, stabbing, piercing pain. Because
right?
you have to think every little detail that you're telling them, they need to know so that they can diagnose you and they can help you with
Mm-hmm.
that. Because if you're saying, oh, my tummy just hurts, or oh, it's
Well,
achy, what's that?
you
They
got a
don't
firm
know.
you got a firm diagnosis last week, Stacey. You live in Colorado. That's cool. I've never been there, but I'd like to visit. Um,
Oh, sounds
that's why
great.
we were talking about GP journals.
Yes.
Bec- because I've been saying that for years. Like I started one as soon as I was diagnosed. When I was first diagnosed, there was maybe one website, like Mayo on the computer, that had anything about GB. There was nothing else. So I started a blog and started documenting my testing and everything. So I wanted it all in one place because my memory is not that great and I wanted to go back and check. So I took pictures of the gastric emptying study, the pH Bravo test, the smart pill test. What else did they give me? I had all the tests except for the EEG and um. What am I leaving out? Anyway, breath test. That's new.
Yes.
The breath test is more accurate than the gastric emptying study, which I didn't know. Um, so it's non-radioactive, non-invasive, orally administered. It's performed better than the GES.
Mm-hmm.
You can also be diagnosed through endoscopy. I was actually like that's why I got sent to Mayo because my doctor did an endoscopy. He went in and saw salad, and he asked me if I broke the rule and ate after midnight. I was like, no, I had salad 3 days ago. He was like, oh no,
Yep.
we need to send you somewhere.
Exactly. Well, that's the
Um,
thing. I think people don't realize when you vomit and you go to your doctor and say, "Ugh, my stomach hurts." Well, now first you have to tell them exactly how it feels. Then you say, "Oh, and I've been vomiting." Okay, vomiting what? This is crucial for them to diagnose you. Gastroparesis, most of the time, like Emily said, it's something she ate 3 days ago. I've had it where it was like 5 days
mhm.
ago. My stomach was so distended. It was absolutely crazy. Like, so what it looks like is really very important. And again, we're going to get into journals a little bit later, but journaling, writing it down, even if you have to take a picture, a screenshot of your vomit. So I know that sounds crazy and morbid, but when you go to the doctors, you can say, this is what it is. This is what I ate. Because then this way they can see how far you digested it. That's why, when Emily said about GP, people think it's because your stomach's paralyzed. No, it's your entire GI system is
Mm-hmm.
affected by it. So all this is really important to know, and to help them diagnose you better. You know. So I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that part, Emily.
No, someone asked, are you talking about where they test for bacteria in your gut? Um,
Oh, that's a different test.
yeah.
That's a completely different test. We're going over the different types of tests to explain how to find out what you have, um, with a, how can they tell you have GP? You now know GP is, there's idiopathic, pediatric, and diabetic. Okay, they're three, I would say, pretty basic, don't you think?
Maybe
And
surgical too. Maybe we should put that in a
um,
category.
yes, as a matter of fact, it should be, because the vagus
Mm,
nerve is usually affected from some type of surgery.
mm.
But what are the symptoms of it? Basic symptoms: vomiting, abdominal pain. You feel full after you eat. Your stomach gets so bloated you look pregnant. Um, what else am I missing, Emily? Oh,
Uh,
tired.
Feeling full after a few bites, reflux, bloating, fatigue, diarrhea, spasms, erratic glucose levels. I mean, I know I get hypoglycemic because I just can't keep stuff down and I have water.
Right,
So it just plummets and I start slurring my words and I don't realize it until someone tells me. To me, it sounds normal and that's scary to me. Um,
right. Right, it does. It sounds very normal to us because this is what we deal with every day, and so do most of you. So if you're just newly diagnosed, I'm going to tell you right now, I've had it for over 30 years. I've even had 85% of my stomach removed,
mhm.
and I'm here. Do I feel good today? Not really, but I have a family, children, and it's not a death sentence as everybody thinks. Um, but you have to really think about everything that's happening. And, Emily, you have on one of your pages has actually what the symptoms of GP are. Print
Mhm.
that out, everyone. Go down, check it off. Or in the journal, you're going to write down, what are your symptoms?
I'm
What
gonna
what do you
post the
have?
I'm gonna post the links to everything we talk about under the
Yes.
description because tomorrow we're recording the podcast.
Right.
So we just want to take your questions and see what you're concerned with to make sure we cover everything.
Yep.
But I'm gonna put all the links under the description that we're talking about. So don't worry about looking it up right now or trying to find it or anything. I'll make it
Oh
easier
yeah.
and just
We Go ahead.
visit. But I
Yeah,
did find out that
we try and make it real easy, so everything that we discuss, first of all, if it's not in the link below, it's not written in the comments, just shoot us a text, an email, and just say, what was that? Or I missed that part. I didn't understand. Um,
oh, Stacy, do I take liquid vitamins or pill form to help? I do take liquid vitamins. Whether they stay down or not is iffy. Potassium is low right now, so I don't think they're staying down. But
right.
you can take liquid vitamins, Vitamelts, or the pills. But I would recommend talking to your doctor first. Um,
Absolutely.
I do try to take vitamins to answer your question. I do. I take the liquid form. I can't find like the Vitamelts. Um, how do you get any good nutrition?
Can I just
Well,
make a comment on the
yes,
vitamins?
please.
There's This is going to shock everybody out there. the one vitamin, now I'm going to say, Emily said, we are not doctors, we are not nurses. We are just giving you what our experiences have been and research. And for vitamins, I have had liquid, I have had regular, and when I couldn't handle any of those, and I've had them through feeding tubes, the liquid, Flintstone vitamins. Good old Wilma and Fred, Barney and Betty. Oh, and I think Dino's in there.
He is.
There, you can
She
take
is.
2 of those a day. You just pop it in your mouth and walk away, and just let it dissolve in your mouth. You don't have to chew it. Just let it sit in
Mm-mm.
there. Assuming you can withstand the taste, and it doesn't have to be the Flintstones, but I will tell you, uh, I've checked them all out and compared them. I actually spent a lot of time on it, and they are
Yeah.
good.
Stacy says, I am to take a DB and just wondering if pills stay or if liquid would be better. You know what? I actually drink liquid IV. I've gotten it from Amazon. Costco has it.
Hey,
It's
Bellas.
hmm?
Bleza. I think I keep pronouncing your name wrong. She just joined.
Hello. But I drink liquid IV, which comes like Crystal Light packets. It has all the A or A vitamin, I know all the B vitamins in it. Has vitamin A too, and it has magnesium and potassium and all of this stuff in it. It replenishes your electrolytes too, but it's not as sugary as Gatorade, and it tastes better than Pedialyte. It comes in 3 different flavors, and all you do is just add it to your water and stir it around and sip your water, and it stays down for me usually, but I mean it will come up, but throwing up that is not that bad to me. I'd rather throw that up than carbonation.
Emily, since you're talking about vitamins and such,
Hmm.
I've had quite a few people in the past week ask, what is the liquid nutrition to hydrate yourself? The little pack of quick nutrition.
Hmm.
What is the name of that? Do you recall?
Neutrinos?
Yes, that's it. I could not think of it for the life of me.
My
Um,
husband and my roommate, or ex-roommate now, but they used to bike to city and back, and they would come back and drink that stuff like crazy.
right.
Would you say the product name? Oh, which one? There's a liquid IV. It comes in different flavors. It's at Costco and it's online. You can get it on Amazon. Then there's neutrinos, which is a good point. It's kind of like Alka-Seltzer. Like you drop a little pellet into your water and then it dissolves. It doesn't taste the best though, in my opinion. Um, I didn't really like drinking it. My husband would make me drink it anyway. But I think the liquid IV is better. It has all the vitamins and stuff I need in it. Well, mostly. I don't think I see to look. But anyway, and plus it works on electrolytes because if you just sip on water, that's not gonna replace your
Not at all.
electrolytes.
Not at all. And Gatorade, like Emily said, is
No
very
problem.
sugary. And if you drink Gatorade, one, you can gain weight by it.
Mhm.
So if you're a weight gainer GPer, you don't want to drink Gatorade. And if you're diabetic, Gatorade's horrible for you.
Mhm.
But if you like the flavor of Gatorade, there's G2, and that has a lot less sugar. The flavor's even a little better. And then there's other options like Propel,
I like
and the
Propel.
yeah, there's a Splash, which is not carbonated, by Nestle. Lemon flavor is very good. It's
Do
very
you feel like a
gentle.
drug rep right now? I kind of feel like we're a drug rep.
I
Like,
do, and I was just gonna say, wait a minute, where's the Nestle behind me? The Gatorade. I hope you guys eventually watch this, you know. But you know what? This is what this is about. We're giving
Mhm.
you a look into our lives, and this is what we do. Um, it
G2
started
you
out
can
survival.
G2 you can get at the grocery store. It's in the soda
Yep.
aisle and
Mm-hmm.
it's in packages. So, um any major
Walmart,
chain store, yeah, any major chain store will probably have it.
CVS. pretty much any store you go to, they do have it. But I will tell you, I actually found out about the weight gain of Gatorade from talking to a pediatrician about it.
Mm.
And all of a sudden I was like, light bulb here. That's why I'm gaining weight. I'm already like, I don't want to gain any more weight. You would think I'm losing weight because I have GP. That's a whole nother subject. But yeah,
No
no,
problem.
it's amazing to find out. And then when I tried the G2, I couldn't believe it. The flavor's different. It's not as sugary, and it's
Mm.
actually pleasant. It's a pleasant drink. Pedialyte, packed with stuff, but let me tell you, have you tried it? No
Mm.
offense, I'm sorry, Pedialyte. I apologize, but for me, I don't like it.
I just want to talk about dehydration for a second because
Yes.
it's an
That,
emergency. You go to the
mm-hmm.
emergency room when you're dehydrated. That's when you're not peeing like all day or during the day or days. Don't mind days though. Um, you feel tired and dizzy, and I looked up the symptoms. You have a decreased resting
Thank
metabolic
you,
rate.
Stacy.
Yeah. Um, Loss of monthly periods, constipation, bone loss, fatigue, high blood pressure. This was interesting to me because I learned this. Potassium and vitamin D are not consumed, which leads to a spike in blood pressure. So if you have low potassium or low vitamin D, your blood pressure skyrockets. Mine was 157 over 107 on Tuesday, because I was dehydrated. And then it affects the brain. It affects how you
Mm-hmm.
react to stress. It makes you aggressive and jumpy, makes you anxious, irritable, and it leads to chronic or clinical depression. Um, and I was hospitalized earlier this year too, at the end of January, maybe early February, because I was dehydrated and I kept passing out. So I actually went downstairs to eat a banana because my smart self was like, okay, if I have something on my stomach, it won't be as bad. So I go to the kitchen and open a banana and freaking pass out and land on it. It was like something out of a Monty
Oh,
Python sketch. I had banana everywhere. And I called my husband. I was like, I need to go to the ER. And he's like, okay, if she's calling me to say we're going to the ER, it's bad. Because I never do that. Went
no,
to the ER,
no.
and I was in so much pain. I kept passing out and waking up. And my blood pressure was 74 over 41. I thought I was going to die. I'm not kidding. And then the doctor comes in and says they're going to admit me because my kidneys failed. So dehydration is definitely an emergency, and I made a video even when I was in the hospital. It's in my blog. I'll put the link up, throw it up there, so you can read about dehydration in more detail
Mm-hmm.
and try to prevent it. I mean, if you're throwing up like crazy, go to the hospital on day one. Do not wait.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
and I
The
don't care
longer you
what they
wait, they get your symptoms get worse
and I don't
very
care what
quickly.
well, I don't care what they say. Dehydration is a true emergency. And
Yes.
urgent care facilities don't really give fluids anymore. So, I mean, it's just really important. If your doctor argues with you about GP, just ask for the ER doctor, go above the head. And if you can't fight for yourself, get a patient advocate like we talked about in our first episode.
Yes, and I'm going to tell you right now, if not, Emily and myself, or we try and make ourselves available as much
Mm-hmm.
as we can. And if we can't help you, we will get you the help. We'll help you figure it out. But dehydration, I was dehydrated so much, and everybody says, "Oh, you just take a sip all the time." Well, not when it makes me sick, where I will vomit from it. You just told me drink some, and that was too much. My stomach now feels a little bloated, and could I drank too much.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did not realize, and I
Sorry.
hope this is wonderful information for everyone out there, there's other help, okay? I know people have heard of feeding tubes and they're afraid of them. That we're going to get into that
Hey,
later.
Nicole. Welcome.
You you can have a feeding tube for dehydration only.
Okay. And people who do already have a feeding tube, as a tidbit, which we're going to get into another time, feeding
Right,
tubes, but
we're gonna have a whole episode on it and give you tips and tricks
yeah,
and
but
everything in between.
yeah, but since we're talking about dehydration, I just
Hmm.
spoke to a few people about this. If you feel dehydrated and you already have a feeding tube, you flush your tube before you put something in and you flush it after. Very important. But also, in the middle of your day, put some fluid in. Get your syringe and just push some into you. And
Lisa, a lot of people are.
that disperses throughout your body, and I'll tell you, people are not aware that that can happen. You can also get a PICC line for hydration.
I've had pick
So
lines
you,
that they're awesome.
I will tell you, I've had several infections, and I almost actually
Oh,
died last year from it. But not to frighten people about it, they're wonderful. They have saved my life.
hold on, I'll tell you. Um, so again, Lisa, if you're dehydrated, here's the rundown again. Well, this is severe dehydration, I guess. Decreased resting metabolic rate, loss of monthly periods, constipation, bone loss, fatigue, high blood pressure. And that's how it affects it. That's not okay. So when you're dehydrated, when you can't go to the bathroom, like you can't pee at
Right.
all, and
Nope.
that's not all day. You don't go all day, and then if you start passing out, or if you have severe pain that radiates from the upper right of your abdomen around,
Right.
that's a kidney problem. If you have a fever, you don't necessarily have to have a fever though. I did
You
not
can
have a
feel
fever
it.
when mine shut down. Yeah,
Right.
and I was in so much pain I didn't even feel it didn't even register. So the symptoms are. I think the main thing is if you're not going to the bathroom during the day, then you know
And
you
a
have it.
urologist will tell you
Hey,
you
Monica.
have to urinate every 2 hours to keep a bladder and kidney functioning properly. And a real quick test. Let me put my phone here for a second so you can see
Oh, pinch it in
this.
the skin.
Yes, if you pinch your skin anywhere like this, okay? And usually you do it on your hand or your feet because
Mhm.
of the texture of your skin. And if the skin stays that way, you're dehydrated. It's not normal. Another
Nope.
quick easy way is your skin flaky? Does it
Mhm.
itch? Well, guess what? You're dehydrated. I always say there's like three or four basic. First one, if you're not urinating. Two,
Right.
if you're itchy and your skin's dry. Three,
Mhm.
it's the test with your, pinching your skin.
Yep.
And what's the
Right on,
fourth
Monica.
one? Uh,
Um, flake. See, not going to the bathroom.
dehy. Yeah, I think I might have
Um,
already said that.
did you?
Uh,
Not going to the bathroom, flaky skin, the pinched chest, and um, I forgot now. I feel like this is
we'll
like when I
come
tried
up
to.
with it.
This is like
We'll
when I
come
tried
up
to
with
name
what it was.
when I tried to name the seven dwarves. I can't do that either. I always miss one. Um.
Anyway, you get the basic idea of dehydration. So if you get those symptoms together, you know you're in trouble. You need
Uh.
to get hydrated.
Back on vitamins real quick because I don't know. Did I mention vitamin D? I did not.
No, you
Okay.
did not.
So my vitamin D and my potassium, well, no, my vitamin D is okay. My potassium is low, but if your vitamin D and your potassium are low, it almost makes you feel like you're having a heart attack, like you have an attack
Mm,
come on, you lose your breath, it's like being punched, and your heart hurts, like around your heart where it is. I had that happen and didn't realize what it was, but it's low potassium or low vitamin D. And also, the blood pressure thing, I didn't know that either.
right,
That was new for me. I was wondering why my blood pressure kept going up and down. And it's because my potassium affects it, like vitamin D does. If you don't have enough on board, you skyrocket. Or if, your kidneys are failing like mine did, then it just plummets.
right.
And I'm, worried. If I hadn't gone to the ER, I don't know what would have happened to me. I don't. And my friend like guilted me into making a video while I was in the ER about dehydration, and I'll post the link to it so you can go and see the video and see what make your own decisions and
Yeah, and as
outcomes.
well, Beleza, and I'm sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. But do you have to go to the emergency room all the time? No, you don't. But when
Yes,
you
it will give you
start
leg
to,
cramps too, Lisa.
what you
Actually,
should do, as soon as you start to feel or you know something's not right with your body, pay attention to what it is and see if you can do it yourself a little bit. If you can't, then that's when you definitely want to go to the emergency room. Don't go see your doctor. Your doctor doesn't have bags of fluid in the back office. You
oh,
know,
what else? Sorry, I was going to
no.
mention some more symptoms real quick. You have cracks at the corner of your mouth if you're dehydrated.
Oh, yes, right
You
here.
can see, yeah, you can see mine. You have a red scaly rash on your face somewhere else, maybe, and then hair loss too. I will tell you, I'll pull out clumps of
Yes.
hair in the shower. Red or white
Yep.
acne-like bumps, typically on the cheeks, arms, thighs, and butt. I've got those too, right there. Tingling,
Lips.
yep, tingling, prickling, and numbness in the hands, feet, or elsewhere. Crazy muscle cramps in the forms of stabbing pain in toes, calves, arches of feet, back of legs. And you asked, um, J- who?
Low potassium.
Oh,
Would you get? Yeah, you answered that.
hey Jody, thank you for watching.
Oh,
Um,
drinking more water. Yes, Monica. You should drink more water. I mean, that's what everybody says. Our body is mostly water. Uh, but
mhm.
for people, when I know for myself, I cannot drink water just normally. It makes me sick. Always has since I was younger.
It
Uh,
messes with my teeth because of everything that's going on because it's cold. I get my water out of the fridge, so it's filtered and stuff, so I don't drink.
right.
Um, yeah, Jody
Headaches.
or Lisa,
Headaches.
yeah,
Yes.
I had a really bad one.
Absolutely.
Also, caffeine withdrawal. If you can't keep anything down, that headache is the worst I've ever had, including migraines. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, you'll have a headache too. But if you're throwing up or if you have diarrhea all day, I would go to the ER anyway and just tell them, look, I've done
Mm-hmm.
this all day. Don't wait, because it always gets worse. It could always be worse.
Right. And Emily, you are so right. I mean, no, you don't always have to go to the ER right away. And I know that, but you have to know your body to make that decision. If it's when in doubt, you really don't keep
Listen to your
thinking about
instinct.
it. Exactly. And I'll tell you what, I always tell everybody, and I was telling Emily before she went to the emergency room the
I
other
told you I didn't
day,
want to go.
she hates going.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I'm like, that's my second home. It's 2.5 hours away. I live in
I don't
Pennsylvania,
even, yeah,
near
I don't even mind the
Philadelphia.
doctors. I don't even mind the doctors or being stabbed. Like, I'm not scared of needles. I just
Right.
don't like going.
Well, I'm very lucky that I go to Thomas Jefferson Hospital in Philadelphia. I will tell you, I love that hospital. Are there a few scenarios that happen? Absolutely. Watch our patient advocate podcast. It's fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, going to the emergency room is something that or you can call your doctor, ask to be directly admitted, or let them know you're coming. Like, let your doctor, let the ER know you're coming just for hydration. They can bypass everything,
Hey,
hook
Shannon.
you up in a room, and
Mm-hmm.
put an IV in, because a bag of fluids does not take 5 minutes. You're going to be
No,
there
it
for a
takes
couple hours.
hours. Yeah.
Nobody wants to sit there and wait in the room, wait to just be seen by the triage nurse. And so sometimes, it does help to call your doctor to say, hey, this is what's going on. But I know there are some states out there, unfortunately, that the medical help in the hospitals are not
Lisa,
good.
Lisa, you could go to urgent care if you went on day one, but most urgent care facilities do not give fluids anymore.
No, they
So
stopped that.
I actually went to urgent care first because my husband took me there. He was being hard-headed. Told him it wouldn't work. So they took me to urgent care, and they basically said, "Oh, we can't do anything for you here. We don't give fluids." And stuff like that, you need to go to the ER because the kidney function test takes 3 days at urgent care.
Mm,
ER takes a couple hours. They test for everything.
right,
So it made more sense just to go to the ER because I needed
right.
fluids. Jesse thought, my husband, he thought that giving me a shot of Phenergan would be okay, so he took me to urgent care. I'm like, that's not gonna work. They need to check my
Shannon,
kidneys.
oh, really?
Hmm.
Shannon, yes. There, I cannot tell you,
We
a
talked
very
about that during the
close,
patient advocacy one. We
yep,
talked in depth about that.
a
We
very
have,
close friend of Emily's of mine, very, very close. Um, we had her go into different hospitals. I was a patient advocate for her,
I was
which,
too.
by the way, Emily, I think we should have done this in the beginning of the show. Uh,
Oh, right, right.
but we have a dedication this entire show. And please, before you go to bed tonight, can you think of this person? Emily, please, would you like to share?
Anastasia Shawn passed away on September 1st. She was near my age. She had a fiance, and she was a wonderful person. She was one of my administrators in the groups, as well as my best friend. And she did so much greatness for the GP community. She would always talk to people if she didn't know them. She would, give her phone number out so people could call so she could help them with their questions.
Yep.
Um, she was a very, very sweet person. She never got into any fights with anyone inside my groups, but if someone messed with me or any of her friends, she was quick to stand up. Don't get it twisted. Um, she was a wonderful woman, and her death was sudden, wasn't expected. But yeah, we went to the hospital or went just horribly on the hospital. Like those people had no idea. But she was always fun to call and talk to, and always made you feel better about what you were doing. She never judged anyone. Um, she would just she would run my groups just like a drill sergeant. Like she wouldn't allow any nonsense. You can
That's
vent if you
right.
want to, but no nonsense. She posted the sweetest pictures inside the group too to motivate people and keep it
Oh,
going.
absolutely. She was also a part of the first
Oh,
group I ever started. And
thank
Lisa,
you, Jody.
I
Thank
don't
you, Lisa.
know if everybody out there is a religious person, but in my group, a lot of times when people aren't doing well, I say a quick prayer. And Lisa's asking if we could say one. So, Emily, is it okay if I
I
say it
don't
quick?
I don't mind.
Okay. Okay. I just don't want to offend anyone on their religious preference, but I know
No, if you're
Anna.
not religious, don't worry about this. Not a big deal.
No,
You
no.
you
It's just Lisa asked, and I would be more than happy to say it. I'm just going to say a real quick prayer. Um, Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, um, please, you now have our angel, Anastasia Shawn, who was the most wonderful person, friend, um, her fiance, I call him her husband. Um, the two of them were absolutely wonderful together. They could finish each other's sentences. And for the GP community, you know how wonderful she was. And now she's going to be watching over all of us. Her work here on earth is not finished. She will be watching us all from heaven. And dear Lord, please bless everyone in this community, um, along with Anastasia. Amen.
know,
So thank
um
you, everybody. Sorry about that. Getting emotional, or whatever, but absolutely a wonderful person. Love her dearly. Uh,
and
so
she
we were,
had, despite her many, many issues, like she was bleeding internally too. And
yes,
she went to a hospital. Basically, they gave her a band-aid and sent her home.
yes.
So we were dealing with stuff like that. And they just
Mm-hmm.
said that she didn't have enough blood in her abdomen for them to do surgery. I've never heard of anything like that. I was like, are you
Mm-mm.
crazy? You talking about blood in her abdomen. I mean that whole sentence just no. Go fix it. I'm
Thanks,
sorry,
Lisa. I
Lisa.
know. I'm sorry,
Thank you,
but I know
Doralee. Thank you,
it's
Doralee. Shannon.
It's hard
Yeah,
enough when
I
somebody in the
have.
GP community is lost. But when it hits home and it's somebody you really cared and loved for, I'm telling you, I tell people the GP community, blood, family is blood.
Mhm.
Okay, you're born, you have brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, mothers, fathers, mamas. But in the GP community, we are actually stronger. You are chosen. You choose your family. And that's what we're doing here. I mean, this is me, GP. This is what we're doing this podcast about. Um,
Oh,
we want to share
yeah.
everything,
And
good, bad.
Anna would have loved this. She like,
Oh,
but I
absolutely.
Dorley asked if she could add Kool-Aid or something to water because water makes her nauseous for the
Yes.
dehydration thing.
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, this here has country. Well, I usually have country time lemonade in here, but then I found
Hmm.
4C. It wasn't so acidic. So 4C, I use Crystal Light. I use anything in my water. I don't like water. I even buy,
I
instead of
hate
buying the
water.
Propel, I buy Propel packets
Wait,
and put
wait,
it in
wait.
it.
For the people in the chat, how many of you hate water? Because I've met a lot of GPers who cannot stand it.
Ooh.
Yeah, how many of you
Yep.
hate water? Just say yes. Like,
Yes, 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 yes. Oh,
because
absolutely.
I really think it's because we get sick so much or something. I'm trying to
Yes.
figure out. It's like I just read a blog article about temperature and GP too, because that's a big issue. Like when the
Right.
weather changes,
Yeah.
you feel it. But we should go back to our topic. Do you want to take a
Oh, our
break now
subject.
or yeah?
I think we could take a break for a moment just so we can
Yeah.
recompose ourselves.
Yeah, Gatorade's not bad, but it's too sugary. Just be careful with it because if you're diabetic, then it'll skyrocket your sugar. And
Yeah.
um,
We just talked about that at the beginning of the, well, mid of this
yeah,
part so far, and there's a couple
my
good
doctor,
ideas.
yeah, my doctor said it was the soda of the hydration world. It's like, okay,
Oh, okay.
wow, awesome.
That is fabulous.
Stacy says
Again,
she drinks 200 ounces a
yep.
day.
And journaling. This is where you journal what you
Right.
drink.
Oh yeah, Belize, I love it too. I love it when it's cold like you do because to me, when I'm hot, I can't cool down. I sweat everywhere and it's all icky and gross, and I get cold because I'm sweating.
Well, the heat actually, which I'm sure everybody is aware of, but if you're not, that's what we're here for, to share with you.
I mean,
Summer,
we can make a whole
worst.
episode.
Oh, yeah. Worst thing for a GPer is the summer. You got to
It's
stay
both.
out of the sun. It's not,
Well,
it's too
medications
much.
medications affect that too, though. Like
Oh, yes.
most medications will say,
Yes.
don't
You can
be in
get
direct
a
sunlight.
permanent sunburn on your
Hmm.
face, your skin, whatever. But
These are the things
that's
the
why.
doctors don't tell you about GP.
That's right. But you get here and
I love
only
water.
here.
Well,
But
ocean water.
it's so true though that with the change of seasons, we always have people saying to us in groups, "Oh, it's just getting to be fall now." Well, okay, guess what? It's getting to be fall. The time change. Okay, when you fall back and you turn your clocks ahead, that affects your medication. Emily, we got to do part of a podcast on that because there's a lot of helpful hints how to transition your life into the 1 hour time change because it will make a difference if when it comes to medication and such. But getting back to the subject, see, there's so much to talk about. We
Well, you
never
know
can
it.
fit it all into one conversation. You really can't. But we're trying to cover things. Again, podcast tomorrow, same time, same bat channel. I'm giving my age away by saying that, but
I love Adam West.
yeah, do you remember that?
I
But
do.
yeah, really, we're going to go more in depth tomorrow, but these are just things that we're going to be discussing, and as you think of questions, to let us know. But going back, change of season, hot, yes, and also extreme cold. It can give you your just GP can get so much worse at those times. Not that it's going to, but
But it could.
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I also wrote a whole article about hormones, and I think so we can talk about that too with the temperature stuff.
Right.
Lisa needs to know how to transition medication. Uh,
Lisa, I will definitely get into more depth with you for your time zone too. So maybe when is it? The time's coming up, isn't it?
isn't it the first
When we
Sunday in November or second
Oh, is
Sunday?
it?
Is it? I don't
Okay.
remember.
Well, we will post
We could do a whole thing on brain
time
fog too.
change.
Yeah,
Time change. We're going to have a time change podcast of it'll cover so much stuff. But yeah, Lisa, don't worry. I will make sure that you are covered.
we're also going to
Um,
talk about brain fog.
oh, brain fog, which is also known as a brain fart,
Mhm.
a senior moment, a
I
oh,
love
I just have
cliches.
two. I have too much going on in my mind. It's called living with GP, and it's part of our lives. But again, a lot of helpful hints on how to do that, um, how to adjust, how to deal with that, writing notes down, getting a pad of paper out, and write things down throughout your day so you don't forget. That's one of the best ways. Michael, yeah, you know what? Brain fog is awful. Um, some days you'll sit there and be talking. We did that, I think, during our last podcast, our first podcast. We were talking all of a sudden. We were like, wait a minute, what were we talking about? But then again, yeah, we have so much going on, so much we want to share and talk about. But one thing is, there are again, I'm advertising, I guess, for computers or something, but they have a lot of computer games on your phones and such that are word games. Those word games actually help improve your memory. Um, Again, that's another
It makes the
podcast coming
neurons.
up.
It makes the neurons string. When they're pieced together, like they're together, they're connected. It makes that strength
Yes.
better.
Yeah, and I mean,
Also, playing an instrument helps. Doing Sudoku and things like that.
mm-hmm,
Lifting weights. All of that helps build brain muscle and mass and stuff.
right.
Dehydration can actually, or no, starvation. Sorry, starvation can actually reduce your organs by 20%, I read today.
You were
And,
right though. Dehydration does as well.
mm-hmm,
It affects your memory. Brain fog is
mm,
also memory, short term memory. People don't realize that. They just think, oh, brain fog. I just forgot. Well, it also has something to do with short term memory. That's another symptom. You got to really
I have no short-term
listen.
memory.
Listen to what were you just talking about? No, I'm kidding.
What?
No, but
No,
really,
I
these are
lost my train of thought.
symptoms.
I'll talk to somebody and I'll forget what I was going to say all the time. It's so frustrating. And they're like, "Oh, you're
Yes.
talking about blah blah." I'm like, "Thanks."
But what's
Um,
worse is when I say to Emily, what was I talking about? And she'll say, oh, the last thing you were talking about was something. And I'm like, no, that was like 4 minutes ago. I mean, the last thing I said. And we're going back, and then I'll be like, well, wait, what was my first question? Oh my
mhm.
gosh. And that's the way we are. But yeah, again, we just gave you some good helpful hints, and they really do work.
We need to do our thing because my phone is down to 12%, and apparently this charger hates my life.
Sounds good,
Um,
guys. Give us a what? We taking a 15-minute break, 10-minute break?
ooh, I don't know, but my phone's gonna die before then. Like, seriously, I don't know what to do with it.
Well, no, I'm saying how long of a break do you want to take?
I think do
And we'll
five,
come
ten
back.
minutes.
Okay,
Oh,
5. We'll be back in 5. 5 and 5, or 5 and 5, however that is on TV. Anyway,
oh.
all right. We'll see you in a few minutes.
To finish this live
Bye.
and start part two.
Sounds good.